I would say, of being able to see the forest for not being distracted by the trees. Josh and I agree on this. It is, you might say, the underestimated advantage of the words out of the mouth of the not yet socialized babe, a kind of emperor who wore no clothes phenomenon, like the child in Hans Christian Andersen's tale who stated the obvious, that the emperor whose gown everybody was pretending to admire was in fact without one. My glimpses of a scientific field were always from the outside. I did not get lost in the details because I did not know them, and I was not crushed by the inertia of grad school mantras I'd never heard. When, in first trying to popularize the idea of my biologist mother, Lynn Margulis, that evolution proceeds largely by symbiosis, I used the term group selection to refer to the process of certain interspecies alliances and well-orchestrated societies outliving their less unified competition. She said, "You can't say that." Why, I wanted to know. You just can't. The phrase isn't allowed. In this book, you'll see why this was, and still largely is, the case. It is a core of Josh's fascinating new biophysical worldview, which has rather huge stakes for us humans, so long duped by the promisers of extended life and the religious counterpart, life after death. Josh himself, trained in astrophysics, comes to the field of biology and specifically how organisms age from the outside. But here he is in good company. The influential innovators of modern neo-Darwinism, from the right-wing Ronald Fisher to left-wing J.B.S. Haldane, came from the hard sciences, from physics, mathematics, and statistics. This was in fact part of the point, to put soft biology on a rock-hard foundation, even if that meant, ultimately, the sacrifice of common-sense assumptions upon the altar of mathematical workability and disciplinary prestige. When Richard Dawkins calls William D. Hamilton his intellectual hero, he is paying homage not to the equations that attempted to demonstrate that aging is an evolutionary inevitability, but to the curious, creative, but mathematically checked imagination that would devise such a thing. Of interest to socialists and communists no less than capitalists and fascists, life does indeed seem to be a social phenomenon. Not just social, but, as the accumulating evidence for symbiogenesis, the production of new life forms from the melding of separately evolved organisms, suggests, hypersocial. The surface of this planet has been crowded for billions of years, and it is in this context of crowds, the benefit of their organization compared to the dangers of their rampant growth, that aging, according to Josh, must be understood. Aging, in the view laid out here, which you can think of as a kind of giant case study of humanity's once naive view of the process, is not what you thought it was. This book does not contain your grandfather's view of aging. It does not contain the view of aging implied by my grandfather's advice, "Whatever you do, don't make the same mistake I made. About 30 years ago, I started getting old." Don't make the same mistake. Clearly a joke, ironically underscoring that there is nothing we can do, wittingly or unwittingly, about an inexorable process. But according to the theory laid out here, my grandfather's assumption is dead wrong. Aging is no mistake. Rather, it is something that nature, however unconsciously, does on purpose. On the new view presented for the first time to a popular audience here, senescence does not come about through mere external exigency or as a result of the inevitable tendency for usable energy to be lost to the environment, entropy. Rather, as you will see, aging, or senescence, seems to be the result of multiple genetic systems all but conspiring to kill us from within. There are many signs that aging is genetic. The clearest proof is our ability to easily make organisms live longer. Fruit flies can be bred to live 8 times as long. Starved rodents live 40% longer. Nematodes, tiny fast-breeding roundworms,